All right, welcome back. Here we are taking a look at how to do problem 11 out of the homework. I'm doing 11C as an example. So in 11, they want you to determine the approximate measure of all angles that satisfy the following. Give answers to two decimal places. Use diagrams to show possible answers. And for option C, they want to know where cosecant theta equals 4.87 in a given domain. Now, before I worry about the domain, let's see, how do you solve this? So we got cosecant theta equals 4.87. Now, there's nothing here, but this is not radians, okay? That only deals with when we're working with that guy there. We're saying that cosecant of some angle equals 4.87, right? So the answer would be, we'll find out in a sec if we're dealing with x or y, but whatever the distance is here is 4.87 units. So we want to find what that is. Now, remember in the last video I talked about how to remember what these are. So this is a C, so I'm thinking cos, but there's S and C. I have to do the opposite. So this is going to be 1 over sine theta equals 4.87. Now, when I'm trying to sort this out, I need to try and get sine theta equal to something. Now, this is a fraction, so I can flip this and flip the other side, and then I'll get sine out of the denominator. So sine theta equals 1 over 4.87. Okay? So it's simply 1 divided by sine theta equaled this. Therefore, sine theta equals 1 divided by that number. So that's how we do that. Now, I need to go through and figure out what the value is. So before I work with sine, let's actually do that, okay? Let's take our calculator, jump over here to our calculator, and we'll just actually do 1 divided by 4.87, and this equals 0.25388. Sine theta equals 0.2053. Now, I'm not going to round that off. I'm going to try and keep that value, but I'm just going to write this down as a recording in case, I don't know, my batteries in my calculator die or something. I don't have to recalculate it. So now, what I'm going to want to do, I'll switch colors so we can see this, is I have to do the opposite. So I'm going to, on both sides, I'm going to call this sine -1, and this will be sine -1. And this will help me with the calculator. So I'm doing the opposite, all right? This is sine theta. The opposite of sine is sine of the -1, or, the cosecant. So I'm taking sine of -1 of both sides. So I'm going to wind up that theta is equal to some angle, and I want to find what that is. So now, let's go see what that would be. So if you weren't following what this is, hopefully this next step will clear it up. Now I have the number in the calculator, and my calculator needs a number in it before I hit a sine function or any trig function. So I'm going to leave this here. I'm not going to clear it. And I'm going to go here to my second function key, and you'll see that my trig functions turned into a -1 above them. So I'm just going to hit sine of -1, and I got 0.206. That's a really small angle, but guess what? Look, my radians was left on. So this isn't going to make any sense, right? We're almost, maybe in engineering somewhere you might run into an angle like that, but we're usually going to have an angle greater than at least 1. So like you see here, if you run into something where it ends up giving you a degree, which is really, really low, you can go and switch it out. You could work with this, I guess, but then you got to start talking about in terms of pi, and it's a little more confusing. So let's keep it easy. Let's switch to degrees. I'm checking. I'm working in degrees, and we'll just have to do this one more time. So let's go 1 divided by 4.87. So I get my 0.2053, right? Notice how degrees or radians doesn't change normal math. It's only when I work with trig functions. So I'm going to go hit sine on that, and the answer I should have is 11.85. I'm going to round off to 2 decimal places because that's what it told me to in the question. So now I'll go back to my pen here. So theta is 11.85. So what this means in terms of the question is whatever this angle is this piece here, okay? So I have some triangle, and for this theta here equals 11.85 degrees. Oh, my bad, I should have had that in. Now, so I have an angle, so I know what cosecant is. Cosecant of 11.85 will give me an answer of 4.87, right? And we've done the math here. So now let's take a look at the next part of the question. So it's saying in the domain of negative 360 degrees or upwards of 180 degrees. So for this, I would suggest doing this in two different pieces. Okay? So I'm going to clear off this other side so we can answer that part of the question. So the first part I'm going to do here is for theta, they were talking about less than 180 degrees. So when they talk about this, this is for everything here. So if it actually worked out that it was on 180 degrees, that wouldn't count because they're only saying less than 180 degrees. So if it actually was on the 180 line, it'd have to be 0. That wouldn't happen. But if it was, you can't include it because it's less than. So we already know on my first one, I have one there. Okay? And then on the second one, it's going to be the same idea there. So these are the two options because that's 11 degrees and that's 11 degrees. So those are the possible answers that I could have. In the last part of this video, we identified we're working with two simple angles like that. Okay? So the only difference in this answer is that we're now going the negative direction, the clockwise direction, all the way around. I should draw that out to 360 degrees. So they just want to know where is it true everywhere here. So in the last part of it, we already knew that these two angles, if they were 11.6, are answers to the question. Now, because we're going all the way around, we need to figure out would these ones be valid. So remember that we're talking about cosecant theta. And cosecant's the opposite one, so that's the same as sine theta, right? And sine theta would simply be y. So we're asking for what is this scenario when it's 1 over y. So when we're dealing with that, all of the areas up here are positive y directions. So these are still the two valid responses, even though we're now going the opposite direction all the way around the circle. So you're going to have it in the positive direction at 11.85. Okay. And then you're going to have it here where this is going to be 180 minus 11.5. And then when we do the last one where we go all the way around in the negative direction, you're going to have none in these. So this one here, let's do this in green, when you're in the negative direction is going to be 180 plus 11.85, and then all the way around to negative 270 plus this distance. So the best way to describe that one would be 360 degrees minus 11.85. So again, they're working on your way. Do you know that sine theta is the same as y? And then just seeing if you could work back to find that this was 11, that should be 8.5. And then how does this work with coterminal angles? So hopefully that kind of clears that question up a little bit. You just need to take some different pieces from prior lessons that you've learned and put them all together in this situation. So good luck with the question. The last ones are questions 13 and 16. They don't have any options to them, so I won't be doing that on my own. I'll leave that up to you guys. Do the best you can on them. Just remember you need to apply prior knowledge to solve 13 and 16. And if you're getting stuck or need any help, just feel free to ask. So hopefully that'll clear up how to solve the last of these problems, and I'll see you in the next section video. Have a good day.